What's up, everybody? Welcome to AEW Uncensored's Hot Tag. Today we'll be doing Full Gear 2020 preview and predictions. I'm here with my man Alan. We are the Bridge and Tunnel Connect, Nolan Hash, the Beast from the East,
with the least
research. So, as always, please like, share, subscribe right below me here. You know what it does. Hit that bell too, because that's important. Hit us on Twitter, AEW Uncensored, one word. Email us, AEWUncensoredPodcast@gmail.com. Love mail, hate mail, comments, questions, whatever. Facebook, search that AEW Uncensored Podcast. We have the page and the group. All third-party apps for podcasting, just search AEW Uncensored Podcast, will pop up. iTunes, rate us, please. That's huge. And Skype, of course, get with us on Skype. Link in the description. And uncensoredalliance.com obviously has a lot of our stuff. Pretty much all this. So, that's our hub. So tonight, as stated before, we're just going to be previewing Full Gear, giving our predictions, and giving a rundown of the card itself. So let's start from the bottom.
Yeah, we got the buy-in. Buy-in's going to be Serena D versus Allison Kay for the NWA Women's Championship. I mean, I see no reason why Serena's not going to win this.
Agree. I don't even know this other one.
I was about to say. I think she's been on Dark, but she's she's still on the bottom of the totem pole. I see no reason why, and not to mention I can't really see them having a title change on a buy-in. But right. Yeah, probably the easiest match to call for the show.
Yeah, I agree. This was supposed to be Orange Cassidy and John Silver for the buy-in, but looks like they're going to be opening up the show.
That's right.
So. From that buy-in, we'll go to that match, which will be Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. Now, I'm a Silverholic, so I'm great. I can't wait to see this. They've kind of been, I don't know. It's like been a weird build. It's like you thought Dark Order was messing with Cody, then they went from messing with Cody to messing with Orange Cassidy in their matches, to slowly doing, not slowly, but over the last few weeks, building up things with Orange Cassidy and Dark Order, obviously leading to this match. I like what Orange Cassidy does, so I love John Silver. So between the two, I think it'll be a good match. I feel like they got to give John Silver the win here. But I know how wrestling is, and Orange Cassidy's the hot hand. So who knows? But I'm gonna have to say John Silver's gonna take this one.
I'm gonna say Orange Cassidy. I would like John Silver to win it. If it was a matter of choosing who you want to win, I would say John Silver.
Right.
I think it would be a nice way for him to step up a little bit. But I just have a feeling with the way they've been booking, I think it's gonna go to Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Oh shit! Look who it is, Kenny. What's up, brother?
Kenny?
Live from Jacksonville, Kenny Waters. You going tomorrow, Kenny, or what? You just watching on pay-per-view? All right, so sorry, I thought I had something else on my mind. I can't remember what it was, but maybe it has to do with the upcoming match. So maybe if something jogs my memory, I'll bring it back up. But so I guess after that I'm just going by the order here. Yeah. I'm guessing this will be the order. We don't technically know what the order will be, but it looks like this could be a possible order. So we go Jericho versus MJF. We obviously know where Kenny stands on this match. He don't want to wait for 2024. He's MJF 2021. All right, so the stipulation here is Jericho, if MJF wins, he can join the Inner Circle. I think there's going to be a lot to do with this match. I just thought about it earlier. They've been kind of saying Ortiz and Sammy haven't been on board with this yet. and they said, Santana and Jake are kind of up in the air. So I'm starting to think if Sammy ain't there to spoil it, since he'll be at the Hardy compound, I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, Santana and Hager turn on Jericho.
Yeah, I agree. I think that as insufferable as Chris Jericho is, as it is as a heel, he's going to be even worse as a face. But unfortunately, I do think that's the direction we're going in here. I think there's definitely going to be some shenanigans. It is probably going to be those guys, and it's going to give MJF the victory. So, yeah, I don't see anything clean happening here. I mean, then again, I say that now, and I feel like I have to watch myself whenever I say something that I think is going to make sense. And AEW doesn't make any sense. So I think what you and I are speaking to are what we think is the most logical thing from a wrestling perspective to happen. Whether or not that's really going to happen, who knows? But yeah, that's the call that I'm going to go with as well.
But realistically, in this scenario here, even if it's something that you don't expect to happen as a wrestling fan, I don't think it'll probably be too bad unless they literally start breaking out into song again in the middle of the fucking match.
Which I would not put past them.
So
I would not put it past them.
What's up, Alex? Thanks for joining us, man. So who knows? But I think, like, even if they don't turn on Chris and whatever, and something else goes down, it'll work for me. I think either way, pretty much. I'm not really giving too much shits about this match because I don't like the stipulation. I'm not a fan of the build. Unless they really get a good twist on it, I'm not going to be, it's not going to be something that really captures me. I will say that I was thinking hard today about some shit, and I realized why I never liked Jericho from way back. His whiny promo voice. I don't know, like, the realism there. It worked for a little bit for me in AEW. I was kind of hyped on a lot of stuff he was doing. He's starting to, like, really wear on me, and I'm starting to be like, all right, I remember why I'm not a fan of Chris Jericho, from his WCW days and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
I think you probably were liking him at first because it felt new. It was AEW, so everything in AEW felt shiny and new.
Yeah.
And then, you put some mileage on the car, then it doesn't feel so new anymore. And I think Jericho has never really changed as a performer. He does, quote unquote, reinvent himself. For all the times he reinvents himself, he's still the same to his core. And I think that, yeah, I agree with you. We're just seeing Chris Jericho as he's always been, only it's a little worse now because he's just got all the power in the world to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I think, like, early on he was doing some good stuff, and then he had some, but then there'd be, like, one that was kind of iffy, but I'd get a kick out of it, like Release the Hounds. I mean, that was fun. He's talking to a fucking, a drone.
Yeah.
I get it. Somebody's on the other side of the drone, so, but it's like, then he started getting a little too in the weeds with the shit, obviously culminating with the song and dance. That kind of just fucked everything up for me, and really, really just put a damper on me and the respect I was getting. I shouldn't say the respect, but the love I was giving Jericho after 25 years of not giving a shit about Jericho, where apparently Jericho's always, apparently since he's been in WWF, Jericho got a humongous fan base and everybody loves the guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I just never bought into him.
I didn't. He's been overhyped. I think he's been overhyped his entire career. There was a point where they really pushed the absolute hell out of him. Back in the the early 2000s, especially when they made him the undisputed champion. And I just always felt, even back to that day, I'm just like, really? This is who you're pushing? This is the guy who beat Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in one night, and he never shut up about that. And that's how he was booked. And it's just like, really? This is the guy. Like, if you're going to choose somebody to beat The Rock and Stone Cold in one night to become the universal champion, just like of all guys, I'm sorry, undisputed champion, of all guys, this is who you do it with. And even back then, I felt like this just didn't feel right. you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a Jericho fan.
yeah,
I believe I stated it early on in this podcast, that I never really was. I started liking some of the stuff he's been doing, but again, like some of the stuff, it's starting to slow. It's, it's starting to erode.
yeah. Well,
You
I
know,
think
the
you wrote it already with that song and dance routine. I think that pretty much did it. But
the glacier is eroding the
yeah,
mountain. So, yeah, that jumped the shark. So Alex says, yeah, Jericho's promos are weak, and he seems to never change. So. Kenny says 20% capacity for Full Gear. Really? What was the capacity before, Kenny? Was it higher for Dynamite and such? I don't remember the capacity they were saying. Um, and Alex says although he is apparently really safe to wrestle in terms of Jericho.
yo, yeah. I mean,
Um,
he's a total professional in the ring. There's no doubt about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
He knows
for
his
sure.
craft. He's very professional. He is one of the safest guys to be in the ring with. But as far as being an entertaining performer, yeah, I mean, he's more people's cup of tea than I would think would be the case.
Yeah. So, oh, Kenny says so it was 15 for Dynamite. Okay, I thought it was higher actually, so that's cool. So it's up a little bit for Full Gear. I wonder if they sold the tickets. I didn't look into it, but they
Yeah.
still had some tickets left. But that was probably about a week ago. I seen that. But let's be real. I mean, how many fucking AEWs can people in Jacksonville go to or the surrounding area?
Yeah.
There's only so much money that you want to spend on wrestling every week, and there's only so much, so many times you could go before you're like, all right, let's do something a little different. So I could see there being a little burnout on, for Full Gear
Yeah.
for attendance. I got to be honest. I don't know why they're not maybe hitting up some of these smaller arenas in different states that allow so much capacity and maybe take it on the road again.
It
You
would
know,
make sense to do it at this point. I don't know if they're feeling skittish about it, but it would make sense.
think about this. Say, say even not say a big arena, like say Prudential Center, right? That
Yeah,
was the show they were supposed to do right after COVID shut. They got shut down the week before they were coming here to Jersey, right?
that's right.
So you could have. How about you go? Obviously, Jersey's a little different right now. I forget what we're at. I don't know if they're allowed to have stadiums with anybody in them. I doubt it. They just
No,
cut
they're
back.
not.
Yeah, we just cut back on dining again, apparently, or some shit. And today, I didn't hear the governor's whatever you call it, press conference, but word is he cut back on dining again a little bit. Um, so, but just say Jersey could, right? Okay, maybe you talk to Prudential Center, say, listen, you could fit 16,000, right? I'm suck at math, so I'm just gonna say a number. So maybe you get 3,000 people in a 16,000 arena, right? And you work a deal with the arena. Listen,
Yeah,
you're gonna get some money. Cut us the deal. Give us the space so we could get a larger crowd. You have 3,000 people in a 16,000 seat arena. You're gonna get some loud noise. You're gonna have some shit sounding good. I mean, maybe it's worth looking into. Obviously, Jersey isn't a state that you probably can do that, but there's states that are open enough that I'm sure they'll allow this.
yeah, for sure.
So I mean, maybe it's something they could look into. I know they're trying to be cautious, but you're already having fans in Florida. Now try to get to a bigger try to get to some bigger, even in Florida. Get to some bigger venues. Move around Florida.
Yeah,
You know?
Florida's open and free, so they might as well.
Right, you get to 15, 16,000 seat arenas, and now you could have 3,000 people sitting in the stands. It could bring back a small semblance of having crowds.
Yep.
Kenny says there's actually a big Florida Georgia football game that ends right before Full Gear starts, so they will have no problem getting everybody. I guess that is they want in. I assume he says one in. The game's in the Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium. Okay, all right, yeah. So they could get some walk-ups.
They could.
Uh,
But anyway,
yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's something that I was thinking about the other day.
Yeah.
So all right, so what I mean, I'm gonna go with MJF, but I'm gonna go with the heel turn here.
Yeah. Same.
Not Jesus Christ, not a heel turn. I go with inner circle turning on
Right.
Jericho.
Or the heel
Is what
turning
I meant.
heel, as what happened in Kevin Owens' case. Yes.
So like I said, I would prefer more. Maybe the Ortiz and Santana being split between the two of them is the red herring
Yeah.
of them turning. Maybe Hager doesn't turn, but they turn on Jericho. Like I said, I would love fucking MJF and Santana and Ortiz to be together
Yeah.
in a little
I
faction,
agree.
So I'm going MJF. I assume you said you're going MJF.
That's right.
Somehow I just literally lost the page. All right. So what do you got? What do you got next?
So next up we got Matt Hardy, Sammy Guevara. This will be at the compound. I don't see why Matt is going to win this. Put the younger guy over, put Sammy on a pedestal, rise him up, and hopefully for fuck's sake end this feud. This feud needs to end. This compound match needs to be like how the old Hell in the Cells used to be. That would be how you would close out a feud. You'd have a Hell in the Cell or a steel cage match to close out a feud. This will hopefully close this damn thing out. This is like a feud that I am just absolutely sick of, and
burnt out on it.
Completely burnt out on it. And there's no reason for Matt Hardy to win this thing. So I think maybe even more so than the buy-in match, it's going to be one of the most predictable matches on the card. Sammy's got to win this.
Yeah, I was thinking, because I was looking this over earlier before we started, and I was thinking the same thing. Like, Matt Hardy went over, and I almost was like, yeah, but does Matt Hardy lose at the compound? I don't know. I don't know the dynamic of the compound and what they did prior, but in what is it, Impact? But
yeah,
I think Sammy has to go over as well. I think Matt's gonna put Sammy over in this one. I don't know with Sammy. I don't know with Sammy. I've just been kind of like the way he's been half goof, half serious with this. With the Jericho thing, he's been the goof, the Jericho MJF, and then with the Matt Hardy thing, he's the serious, doing the ominous shit.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. That's one of the cracks again with AEW. That's kind of, what are you doing? Where what are you doing with that? All right, so next we got Hangman and Omega. Now, this is for the number one contendership. This is the tournament final to the world title, number one contendership. Now, I'm going to throw you a curveball here. I'm going Hangman.
No, I was going to say the same thing. I think it's going to be Hangman because we've talked about this. This will be the match where Hangman wins and Kenny loses his shit. That's basically what's going to happen.
Okay, we did kind of talk about this.
Now, on paper, if you look at the whole heel versus face thing, if we're assuming that Moxley's going to keep the title, we'll talk about that. It would make more sense for Kenny Omega to win. He's going to go heel and then face Moxley. But I do think that there is going to be a little bit of a curveball here, and at least I hope there will be. I think it makes sense to have Adam Page win, and that is the last straw that turns Kenny completely nuts and he becomes the cleaner again. So I think you and I are on the same page with it.
The more you look at it and the more you think about him calling him a tag team wrestler and this and that, and then slowly going, he had a good match and this and, you start to go, okay. So him not giving him the due is where the turn, where the, him losing can make him flip his lid and go, 100% heel.
Yep.
Yeah. Now Kenny says, he says, I'm not sure if Matt ever lost at his compound. I could be wrong. I don't watch Impact, so
I think he might have. Well, not in Impact, but I think when he was Woken Matt Hardy in WWE, I believe he lost a match with Bray Wyatt at his compound. I could be wrong
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on that. But I don't think he's undefeated at his compound. And in fact, he
Okay.
might have even split matches there with his brother, because I think he's had a couple different compound matches with Jeff. So might have been split. But again, we are the least researched, so I apologize if I'm incorrect there.
Hey, Alex. Thanks for joining us while you could, man. We'll see you next
Thanks,
time. And
Alex.
thanks for subscribing. Appreciate that. Kenny says, yeah, he's going Hangman too. So,
Yep.
all right. So I guess we're pretty much on the same page there. Now here's one that I'm not sure, man. I know where I want it, obviously, but we're going Shida versus Nyla Rose for the women's championship. Start it off, man. What's your take?
I feel like Shida's going to retain.
Okay.
I know that there is a lot of push going on right now with Nyla Rose, but I don't know. I just don't feel like it's the right time yet to take the belt off Shida. I don't know why I feel that way necessarily, other than it just feels like this is something where I could maybe see Shida retaining until Double or Nothing, even. That you keep the belt on her for a really long time. You wait until she has an opponent who it would really make sense to be like a shocker of some sort to take the belt off of her. So, but I feel like it can go either way. If I have to absolutely choose, I'm going to say Shida retains, but I would not be surprised if they give it to Nyla Rose.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I think Shida should win this. I don't know though the way things are going. I think maybe Nyla might take it, but I think that Shida should retain. She should not lose a title in such a hastily put together match with a very poor built storyline.
Right. It was nothing building toward this, really. It
right.
makes it even less worthy of her losing the belt in that kind of a fashion.
See, Kenny disagrees. For the sake of the women's division, put it back on Nyla.
Really?
So,
all right.
Yeah, so he disagrees.
Well, why take it off Shida, though? Like, why would it be for the sake of the women's division?
Yeah, let us know, Kenny.
Because it's not like Shida is a poor champion. I mean,
no, not at all. She's probably the best. She's probably one of the best women's wrestlers in the division.
Oh, yeah.
In the company. So while we wait to see what Kenny has to say, now with Shida, I could see that going, like you said, into next year.
It's a Double or Nothing.
Yeah, and no, I mean Revolution maybe, because that's February. So Double or Nothing's a little late. So maybe Revolution.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I feel like she's that kind of champion where it would make sense to give her a really long reign.
All the way to Double.
All the way to Double or Nothing. That's my thinking. I mean, that's why I am surprised by what Kenny was saying, because I do feel like of all the women on the roster, I think that Shida is probably the best to hold that title. So.
Right. No, I agree. I just think we spoke about it last show. I think Kenny even Kenny might have put this out there, but it's been very, maybe not. FTR mentioned this. I don't know if it was shoot or not, but it's been a very poorly built pay-per-view.
Yeah, it is.
Story-wise, I mean, we've shit on what AEW's been doing over the last month or two, and it's basically all based around the story build. There's let me see, real quick look. There's one match I truly give a fuck about and think that it really, really was done well. So,
and you're talking about the main event.
Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
That was a question. Sorry, that was a question.
Yes,
because I agree with you.
Yes. Yes, the main event. Yeah. I feel like everything else has been so poorly booked.
I agree.
Leading into this pay-per-view, there's no. For me, it's kind of like a, I
mean, Jericho MGF had the opportunity for a good build. They gave it a lot of time. They simply executed it very, very poorly.
Yeah, but I'm also not interested in the storyline. Like, I don't care about MJF and Inner Circle. Yeah. Inner Circle already has 5 fucking guys. It's 6 and 6, obviously, and then Wardlow's 7. It makes no sense to me.
Right.
So I got no skin in that game. So Kenny says Shida She is the best, but as a champion, Nyla and Vicky could do more, making the belt mean more. I can understand what you're saying there.
Maybe. Yeah.
I can understand what you're saying there. So I won't 100% disagree with that. I couldn't say that you're wrong. You know, I think you're right. I mean, I almost would I would almost honestly I would say wait for Britt Baker, probably a Revolution.
Mm.
Just my opinion. I think Britt gets a lot more reps in. I don't know why she's not wrestling more on Dark, to be honest with
I don't
you.
understand that either. I don't get why. And again, we could piss on that division till the cows come home. I don't know why she's not wrestling more. I don't know why Allie isn't wrestling more. I don't know why these women
thing is...
who have talent, who actually have talent, aren't wrestling.
Yeah. The Allie thing's baffling the fuck out of me.
It really is. It's baffling the fuck out of me too. And so goes with and you know, even like Tay Conti, I mean, well, she had a match that they couldn't air because Abaddon got hurt. But even outside of that, we need to see more of her. She does really well. She's a great performer.
100%.
I mean, WWE was stupid as fuck to let her go. And it's like the folks who, it's almost as if they're trying to like fuck around. It's like, let's take the people with the best talent and put them on the bench and let's field the worst fantasy team ever just to see how shitty we could do. And it kind of feels like that's what they're doing with the women's division.
Yeah. I gotta be, I mean, I can't wait till they get their second television show, and hopefully they could change, like, whatever. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse about changing Dark around. And
we've made our point, I think, with this, but
right. So I'm still sticking with Shida. Kenny, you're right. I could see them using her and Vicky to, you know, put a little spark in the division. So you could be right there. So then we go to FTR for the versus the Bucks for the AEW Tag Championships.
Okay, so I take it all back. This is the most predictable match of the entire card.
The most. Okay, so this is predictable. Okay, who are you picking?
Well, I'm picking FTR because Matt's fucking hurt, and he's going to probably have to get surgery. And there you go. There's their out. That's how they will lose. That's how they say, well, they'll no longer challenge. He'll get his surgery. He'll be out for God knows how long. They'll say that's the reason, and it'll be a little linchpin is to say why they can come back into the picture. So, yeah, unfortunately, you know, again, I know we shit on the Young Bucks left and right, but I do feel terribly for Matt for the injury they suffered. I give him a lot of credit for wrestling through it. I will say that for all
he just sells the real injury bad.
Yeah,
the real injury.
Really,
he can't even sell a real injury fucking well. Like, you know, because listen, I'm sure he could walk around fairly normal on it. Yeah. It just has, you know, it's just painful, but you know, it's not limp painful, I'm sure, you know, for the most part.
But that's a shitty injury. That's an injury that will put a ball player out for months. So I will say I'm impressed that, you know, for as bad as he sells, I am impressed that he's still at least going through with it. He's still out there. I will give him credit for that.
But a lot of athletes, you know, go through with ACLs and messed up ACLs and still, you know, do whatever they do. You know, they don't all necessarily go out right away. Well, you know,
baseball they do. Baseball, you get a torn ACL or even partially, you're done.
Right. Okay. So I'm lying. All right. Okay. Say like MMA, right?
Okay.
They'll fight an entire fight with a torn ACL, and they'll still be able to do it.
Because their adrenaline's through the roof. That's the thing.
Right. Obviously, listen. Obviously, they eventually get the surgery.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure. I'm sure if they really had to, they could probably keep going with a fucked up ACL and say another match or whatever. You know, it's kind of probably where Matt is. You know, it's like I can go, but you know, it's going to be painful, but I could still go. And you know, in terms of baseball, I think they always put those guys out early to get it fucking fixed.
They do.
They don't want a guy. You know, he could play on his ACL, but they prefer him to be out. You know, getting it fixed before, so he's not. You know.
Yeah.
So he's actually being productive because you know the guy's got a bad ACL. Maybe he's 50% of his normal self. So
I will say this though, that I think that anytime you are playing or working with that kind of an injury, you are taking a huge risk, because if he does anything the wrong way and if that thing explodes, he's done.
Hey, I'm fucking Dr. Bill. I do no research. I made all this shit up off of fucking bullshit that I can remember and recall from MMA, other sports, and everything else. So who the fuck am I, okay? Don't listen to me. I just said this shit. I probably am totally wrong on every aspect, but I do know that fighters have torn their ACL, MCL. They've literally shredded every CL in their fucking knee in the middle of a fight. Completely got through the fight. Won fights with that. So I mean, listen, I know it's possible. Uh,
I just can't get that. I mean, that's the thing that just doesn't make sense. It's almost like I wonder if one day he's going to limp on the wrong leg. It's just, it's the stupidest shit. Did he really go on the wrong leg? I was kidding. You know, I can see happening, and then we should move on. But I could see him in the surgery, you know, being prep for surgery. And you know what happens, right? The doctor will always come to you and just to make sure he'll go, okay, which side are you getting done? Which leg are you getting done? Whatever. I can see him sitting there going, you know, I'm not fucking sure. I don't fucking know. Yeah, seriously. Yeah, yeah. For as good as it can be with somebody who's hurt like that, but yes, it will be good. Yeah.
oh fuck, my audio was out. God damn it. Oh man. So, God,
It's out now.
sorry. Nah, I must have hit something on my keyboard and I must have muted it, shortcutted it.
Oh.
Fuck. Anyway, so anyway, I'm looking for. So that was a big fucking waste. This will be on the podcast, so you could catch that little bit of audio on the podcast version. So for me, I'm looking forward to the match itself. I think the match will be great, but I just felt the build was really shitty for this.
Yeah.
So, you know, with the injury and stuff, obviously, I'm going with FTR as well because, like you said, Matt will be out for a while.
Yeah. It just
and
it makes the most sense of the world. They're not going to make them champions with him having to be on the shelf.
Yeah, Kenny says 100% FTR, and he says it's crazy how this match is still going to happen. There can't be a clean finish to this. Yeah, you're right. I could see a fuck finish happening somehow, and that's how they keep their stipulation. You know, the stipulation from kicking in. Fuck, man. Kenny, how long was the audio out? Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Thanks for the heads up on that.
Was that both of us?
Didn't
or
even
just
notice it. No, it was just me. My thing was muted. I said, I hit my thing while I was, because I'm very handsy when I talk, and I hit my keyboard and I must have been a fucking shortcut of some sort, but that sucks because I was on a good tear there. Next is Cody versus Darby. For the TNT Championship.
Quick note. It's now
shoot.
Cody Rhodes.
Yes. No. You fucked up. That's Sunday's miscellaneous.
Well,
notes.
You know what? No, I feel like it's. We can't really wait till Sunday. It is something important to bring up.
We could talk about it.
Yeah,
then
we'll go into more detail about it then. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's now actually Cody Rhodes. But anyway, yeah, I don't see. I think Cody's just going to continue as the champion. I don't really have a reason as to why. I just think that he's going to continue as champion. He just got the fucking belt back. If he's going to lose it again, it's not going to be to somebody like Darby Allin. I just can't see it.
I'm going Darby Allin.
Really? All right, so this is our first schism of the
Cody,
night.
Listen, Cody beat Darby a bunch of times. What, twice maybe? Once or twice? I don't know. He's already beat him. I think it's Darby's turn,
Okay.
and Darby with the title, and Darby now has good feuds to happen with Team Taz
I will say if
to
Darby
to
wins,
mix it up.
then this whole crap with Dark Order was even more wasted. That if Cody gets the fucking belt back from Brodie that quickly, and then he'll drop it that quickly, I see your point as to why it would make sense for Darby to win. Now that I'm thinking about it, because you're right as far as the number of victories that Cody picked up, but it worsens that story even more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's for another
I was just starting to heal. I was just starting to heal from the Dark Order stuff, man. So, side note on Dark Order, I think the reason Brodie is out is he got injured.
I heard about that as well.
Yeah, he was on AEW Unrestricted and mentioned something about. I think it happened in the dog collar match.
Yeah.
So that's why he hasn't been around.
Yeah.
Kenny says I'm buying it in a rumor mill. Darby wins with Sting as his manager. There, I said it. And honestly, I was about to mention Sting, but I didn't want to get too fucking markish
Well, Sting's
because
more for Sunday too, I think.
it's a lot of Mark shit that's been going around. Like a lot of fake like those like wannabe things you see posted on Facebook, like they're real. Oh, rumor is Sting's coming to AEW when there's absolutely zero rumor. It's just that Sting has been taken off of WWE's
right,
website.
that's all
and
people are thinking. Just because he was taken off, it's like, all right, well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. What if they ever take Hulk Hogan off again? Does that mean Hulk Hogan is AEW bound? It's like, no.
Right. The only thing I do see that has a little bit of taste is obviously being up high in the stadium.
Yeah.
He's sitting up high in the stadium with the spotlight on him. That old Sting.
Yeah.
Sting move. So that's gonna be that would be good. I mean, not that I want Sting as Darby's manager per se, but I would love Sting to come to AEW. I said this before. He's my all-time number one favorite wrestler. I don't care if he doesn't wrestle. I just would love him to be with AEW in some capacity.
He's over Flair for you?
Oh, yeah.
So Flair's number two.
Flair's number two, but that's like as I got older. Like,
okay.
Flair, the whole Sting Flair thing, like Sting was always being attacked by Flair and the Horsemen and shit. It used to drop as a kid. Talk about Mark. Like I was like fucking foaming at the mouth for like, why is Sting always getting beat up and he's never getting his comeuppance on Flair, that's what wrestling, that's what makes me, man, the story, it's something that you don't get as much. I feel in today's wrestling.
As much at all.
Right. It's like, I mean, it took Sting fucking 8 months to finally get a shot.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's proper storytelling. That's proper.
Exactly.
You're running it out. You're running out the clock the way you should. Yeah, I mean, even the old WWF the same way. I felt like the storylines they built to their fruition properly. They actually gave it a lot of time.
Yeah, like it would be Sting versus Dustin Rhodes, and then, here comes a Horseman. Bang. They attack him, triple team, double team, whatever the fuck. Sting, nothing, right? He's out another week later. He's wrestling Barry Windham. Same thing. Let's just say Barry Windham wasn't a Horseman at the time. Gets attacked by the Horseman. Same thing. And it would go on week after week after week. Promos back and forth. Confrontations. All that shit. And finally, 8 months down the road, Sting would get his pay-per-view match or whatever. I want to say 8 months. Listen, I'm just kind of throwing the number out there. But obviously, it wasn't week to week. It wasn't I get Sting versus Flair 2 weeks after they attack each other. Right. You know what I'm saying? They attack Sting. Right. So it was kind of like it wasn't that instant gratification, instant satisfaction. You had to wait for it,
right? And
that built excitement and fucking it made you fucking hype. You were pumped up to see that match. You were like, and the frustration as a little kid. I remember that frustration of what the fuck, please. And I would. It's almost like, what the fuck is WCW doing? Why are they allowing this to happen? Please give Sting his fucking match, because you wanted the comeuppance for Flair and his crew.
Yep.
So obviously Flair, as I became smart, obviously smart, you get smart to what the business is, and That's when Flair became like pretty much my number 2 all time, in terms of favorite wrestlers. As a kid, Sting obviously is, and that carried through even till now.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, anyway, I just went off on a whole fucking mission there. uh, so I'm going Darby.
All right.
You're going
I'm
Cody.
thinking. I mean, you're you're convincing me why it will be Darby, but I never like to just change my picks midstream. I like to stick with whatever I said. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'll stick with Cody. But again, as with the Nyla Rose Shida match, I could see reasons as to why Darby will win. But I will edge it out for Cody.
Okay. And for the final breakdown, prediction, preview of the night, we go to the most interesting to me, the most well built, Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the World Championship, AEW World Championship. I
legit don't know where this one's going to go. If I had to on the fly make a choice, I would say Moxley, only because I guess it's very much like my Shida and my Cody predictions. I don't feel it's time to take the belt off him. But the way this storyline's been built, there are enough reasons to believe why they would give it to Eddie. So I'm going to say Moxley just because, again, if I have to make a choice, I don't think it's time for him to lose the title yet. But again, on the flip side, I would not at all be surprised if they do take the belt off him for this with how the story's been building.
I was going to say I'm going to shock you with my pick, but I'm going Eddie Kingston.
You are? Okay.
I'm going Eddie Kingston. I've heard a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, I've heard people, people that have been in, the business of wrestling in terms of media, mention how Kingston is just not a guy that you would he's not a world title guy, whatever. They obviously I come of it more of a fan. I mean, I'm getting more analytical obviously doing this podcast, but I also don't have a media mindset analytical. I have a fan mindset of analytical.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just think like if you now Moxley's a more plotting, ground, bludgeoning type of wrestler. He's not a move. He's not a technical guy. He's not a flyer. He's not. He's just more of a meat and potatoes guy. Punches, chops.
Right.
Some hard old school moves, that type of shit. Now, put that, okay, with his mouth, and I think Eddie is for sure world title worthy.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I don't want to get into it. This past week, I teared up. Everybody. I was like a little bitch. I got the goosebumps. And I teared up. I'll talk about it more Sunday.
Right.
But that motherfucker made me feel it. And that's what the fuck I want out of my wrestling. And Jon Moxley is a fucking beast too. I don't care. I have been saying it. Moxley and Kingston are the best promos in the business currently.
Mm-hmm.
That time that I was watching Daniel Bryan in like here and there in WWF, I would catch Moxley as Ambrose, and I would see a lot of people shitting on him in the groups and stuff, and saying how he sucks and
that wasn't
this and
his
that.
Fault.
No.
Yeah.
How they just say he sucks, and I gotta be honest with you, man. I gotta be honest. Watching like I said, I was cup of teaing it, seeing a match here, a match there. Just watching Jon Moxley wrestle in the WWF, I can see that motherfucker cared. I could see he gave everything in every match. And I could tell. And then I found out what he was about as he was coming into AEW. I found out a lot more about his past, how he became a wrestler, his indie stuff. And I could just tell the guy loves wrestling. You could tell. And even in the shithole, he was still loving wrestling and giving it his all every time out. You know?
Yeah.
So I think he's had a really great place to shine in AEW and show off that promo work to go with his passion that he shows in the ring when he's doing it, you know? I don't have a problem with him dropping the belt here.
I don't either.
Months. It's 9 months with the reign. Even if Kingston is a transition guy, couple month run, even if he fucking drops it back to Moxley in 3 months, you know, or whatever. I think that kind of gives. Oh, you know what, man? Real quick breakdown. I know you got to give your side of things here. Or did you? You already did, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how bad my memory is. So, okay, thinking about this, you pass it to Kingston, right? Then you have him and
Hangman.
Fucking Hangman. So there you go. You got a heel face. You have them go at it at Revolution. That's only 3 months away.
So there you go. You just actually
4 months away.
Yes, and you made a very good point. If we're wrong about Hangman and if Kenny wins, then there's no way Kingston is winning.
Right. It makes more sense for Moxley.
Eddie. So
right.
I feel like that match, that Hangman Kenny match, is going to dictate the winner of this match. Unfortunately, that I actually don't.
I think you're right.
I don't like that because I don't like that. That's going to be a spoiler for the main event. I don't like that at all. That bothers me.
Okay, it can be, but AEW can do a swerve. They could do, you know, they don't always go the most obvious. While you know they do most of the time, but they have thrown a couple curveballs.
I just don't see how you work with a Kenny Eddie feud. I don't see how you do.
Right. I think Moxley Kenny is obviously there, built in from the beginning of AEW.
Yeah.
And then Kingston versus Hangman obviously would be the heel face dynamic. So
you know what? For the first time tonight, I am going to go back on what I said. I'm going to say, Moxley. Well, I'm going to go with Eddie if Hangman wins.
Okay.
If Kenny wins, it's going to be Moxley.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I guess I don't really have a choice here. I just feel like the two matches are tied together. Unfortunately, you know, they're going out there. They're saying this is for the number one contendership. So, yeah.
Right. Kenny says, "My head says Moxley, but I would love it if Kingston won." I'm with you. And then he says, "Save it for Sunday." But the face-off, wow. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't wait to talk about that Sunday, man.
Cool.
Woo! Shiver up my spine, baby. But yeah, I mean, I guess that wraps it up.
Yeah.
I mean, we touched everything here, and you know, listen, we touched a few things about Dynamite. We had to.
There's no choice. I think not to. You kind of have to talk about predictions. So.
We'll touch base a little further with that stuff Sunday, because obviously this show isn't going to be as watched as that one. You know, because once the pay-per-view's over, people aren't looking back for what we were talking about. But Kenny, thanks for joining us. Alex, thanks for joining us. I know you had to take off earlier. Thanks for the heads up on the audio. Sucks. If you're watching this on YouTube, sorry about that. You can check the podcast audio for the little bit that you missed. It's probably me just ranting about some Young Bucks shit or something, or I don't even know. You know, me overall with this pay-per-view, I'm not as highly looking forward to it. The build, I felt in almost all the storylines was pretty weak. Yeah. I think, Alan, you feel the same way.
For sure.
And I think that's been a little bit of where our criticism's been with AEW the last month or two.
Yeah.
Aside from Dark Order, but
yeah, I mean,
you know,
I've been shitting on their creative for a long time now, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's still how I feel. Yeah, I think shitty creative is going to get you a shitty booked pay-per-view. That's just how it works. The pay-per-view is
Right.
supposed to be the end of the story of a chapter of a book, and if your chapter sucks, your ending's going to suck.
S- Sadly, all the matches are good matches, I
Oh
think,
yeah, the
but
matches
I
themselves.
just think the story surrounding the matches
Yes.
aren't necessarily the
Yeah,
best.
like if you showed me the
So
card on paper and I had not been watching the product and didn't know what was happening, I would have said, "Oh, wow, this actually looks pretty
it's a
good.
good fucking
This
card,
looks like a
right?
really good card." But yes,
Right.
having
And
seen it,
yeah, and I'm sure they'll all put they'll all put some work in on this and do some good shit. Obviously, real quick to end this off, I know I kind of almost signed off there, but to Kenny says, have you guys thought about doing pay-per-view live reactions one day? Um, that's a good idea, and I have something planned out that's similar to that. Only it will unfortunately won't be live. My idea won't be live while the pay-per-view is going on. It'll be more going backward on some stuff
right?
and doing some almost like watch along kind of deal. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm hoping I might, once the viewership goes up and listenership on a podcast goes up and it's worth, offering to people, I might do that, behind the scenes. Um, but that is a good idea, and maybe do that one day. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. It's logistically, I'd have to figure that out because, I'm sitting on the computer here. I do have the TV right here, but I don't know about how we could logistically do it. That's basically what we would have to figure out. But I have thought about that, Kenny, honestly. So that is a good idea, and I'm sure one day we definitely will do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say, in terms of the before we sign off, what match are you looking forward to the most on this card?
Well, definitely Moxley Kingston.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna say that, and I honestly have to say Hangman and Kenny as well.
that'll be number two.
While I'm like lukewarm on the build for it, and I'm starting to heat up a little, honestly, like after last week and the week prior, starting to heat up a little more on it. I think I'm going to go with those two matches as well,
Mm-hmm.
Moxley Kingston and Hangman and Omega.
Yeah,
So
cool.
looking forward to those. But again, Kenny, thank you
Thank you.
as always for joining us. Alex, thanks again. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell right below me. AEWUncensored.com. You find everything we do. Thanks for joining us for AEW Uncensored Hot Tag. We like doing this shit, so we like to hear from you. So just let us let us know you're out there. Anything, any Twitter, email, Facebook, the chats in the comments, whatever. Just shoot it to us. Again, I apologize for the audio being out for, I think it was probably about a minute there or so. Sorry about that. Check the podcast version I throw up soon of this to get that little snippet of audio. It's not life-ending audio. It's, again, me just probably rambling and umming and on. So thank you again. And Kenny, we'll talk to you later.
Thanks everybody.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.